London, 1814. A bustling city, a hive of industry, and home to a deep love for porter, a dark and hearty beer. In the heart of St. Giles, a poor and crowded district, stood the Horseshoe Brewery, its massive vats holding a liquid fortune. On October 17th, disaster struck. One moment the air was filled with the familiar smells of molten yeast, the next, a deafening boom echoed through the narrow streets. A 22-foot vat containing over 135,000 gallons of maturing porter had burst. Imagine a wall of dark, frothy liquid, taller than a double-decker bus, exploding from the brewery. The force was like a tsunami in slow motion, a torrent of porter crashing through the back wall and surging into the surrounding neighborhood. The wave, unstoppable, carried away everything in its path. Wooden barrels, brewing equipment, and even parts of buildings were swept away like toys in a bathtub. The wave of beer, thick and relentless, flooded the cramped streets of St. Giles. Courtyards became impromptu pools, basements filled to the brim with the dark brew. The air, usually thick with the grime of the city, now carried the sweet, pungent aroma of malt. Panic gripped the neighborhood. People screamed, running for their lives, desperate to escape the sticky deluge. Mothers clutched their children, scrambling for higher ground. The lucky ones escaped unscathed, watching in horror as the brown tide swallowed their neighborhood. The less fortunate were swept off their feet, tossed about in the current like rag dolls. The force of the flood was such that even those seeking refuge on rooftops were not entirely safe from the relentless surge. The initial terror slowly gave way to a scene of utter devastation. The flood subsided, leaving behind a layer of sticky residue that clung to everything. Buildings were reduced to rubble, their foundations weakened by the deluge. The air, once filled with the comforting aroma of brewing, now reeked of stale beer and something far more sinister: death. The true cost of the disaster was soon realized. 8 souls lost their lives that day, a mother and daughter trapped in their basement home, a group of children playing in the street, caught in the torrent's path. Their deaths, a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of such unexpected events. The city mourned, united in grief over the shared tragedy. Section 4. The Unfortunate 8. Among the victims were Eleanor Cooper and her 3-year-old daughter Hannah, crushed beneath the weight of their collapsing home. Anne Saville, a teenage servant girl, drowned while enjoying a rare day off. 4-year-old Thomas Mulvaney, playing in the street, was swept away by the current. His body was found days later, washed up on the banks of the River Thames. Their stories, individual tragedies within a larger narrative of chaos and loss. The Horseshoe Brewery, once a symbol of industry and prosperity, became a place of sorrow. The event, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of remembering those lost in such unexpected circumstances. Section 5. Lessons learned, the legacy of the beer flood. The Great London Beer Flood of 1814, a tale whispered through generations. A cautionary reminder of the power of unexpected events and the importance of vigilance. Though shrouded in tragedy, the story has also taken on a life of its own, becoming part of London's folklore. The event led to changes in brewing practices, with a focus on stronger vats and safer locations. It also sparked a debate about poverty and the living conditions in areas like St. Giles, highlighting the vulnerabilities of the city's poorest residents. Section 6. A toast to the past. Today, the memory of the Great London Beer Flood lives on. Pubs bear its name, their walls adorned with murals depicting the chaos. Tourists and locals alike gather, raising a glass to those lost in the sticky deluge, a somber toast to the city's past. The event serves as a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, life and Londoners find a way to persevere. The flood, a strange and tragic footnote in London's history, continues to capture the imagination. It reminds us that the past is a tapestry woven from joy and sorrow, from ordinary lives and extraordinary events, and sometimes that past is best remembered with a pint in hand, a toast to resilience and a moment of reflection on the Great London Beer Flood of 1814.